We're going to be exploring how to create your own test within Schoolnet without using the Express Builder. This will give you a fair amount of flexibility and it'll allow you to create some of your own test questions, but also use some from the question bank within Schoolnet. So once you're logged into your NC Cloud account and get into Schoolnet, it'll be the same assessment admin as the Express test, and we'll still hit create, but we'll click on this middle one right here, create a test manually. And it'll look similar, save for a few of the things will be a little bit different because we have to select number of items ahead of time. We have to select several things that we didn't have to do with the Express test. So I'm going to just label mine test 2. I'm going to choose my subject as, let's see here, let's do mathematics. And I'm going to do grade 7. This is where it'll start to differ. I need to go ahead and choose my number of items. So I'm just going to put that I want 10 items and I want them to all be multiple choice. Apart from that, everything else will be pretty much the same. Now, this preferred standards document, I need to change that to mathematics, not English language arts. And then it gives me some initial settings, which those are the things that we had talked about in the last video, which would be columns, it would be how you want the text formatted and displayed, and then test settings, same thing. It's all about commenting what you can do with the test and after the test. And then this co-authoring here, if you want to be able to work on this test with someone else, you need to enable co-authoring. So if you're working together as a PLC to create one math assessment, even though there are multiple teachers working on it, then you need to enable this feature and set up a co-authoring folder. Then we'll just hit generate test. And you'll notice when it pulls up, I've got my 10 items here and I've got all these blank questions. So I can either go ahead and quickly just type in the questions that I want, type in the answer choices, select the correct answer. It's fairly user-friendly with that. I can take out answer choices. I can add answer choices in. If I need to upload a document in here, now this isn't going to be a place where you can upload a whole test, but like if I have a formula sheet that I want to upload, or if I want to give one sheet for all the students to view, I can do it there. Now, this is where some people will say, well, how do I get to the question bank? Because really all I want to do is add in a few of my own questions and then I want to use the question bank for the others. We can hit this replace button. And what it'll do is take me to Item Central. You're going to notice that it pulls up all of these questions here, but they look like they're all ELA. We need to go through and open the filters and choose exactly what standards we want to meet. So I'm going to go through and select the subject. So I definitely want it to be mathematics. I want it to be 7th grade. I want it to be multiple choice. And then apart from that, if there are keywords that you're looking for, whether it's division, addition, equations, you can look at it like that. Or if you're happy with it as is, we can go through and search items. And it will pull up, it says there are 5,005 results. What I would suggest doing is going through and doing keyword searches. Otherwise, it pulls up 5,000 choices for you to choose, and you're not going to have enough time to look through it. But it does give you all of the options. You get to read the questions. You can click the box if you want to add it. So I'm actually just going to go through and select these first 10. And then once I get that done, I can just go on down to the bottom. I can add items to test. And then it takes me back to my test. And if you'll notice from the 10 I selected, it actually put those 10 in, but then I've still got these extra ones here. So I can go through and delete these out one by one. Or let's say I knew I was going to actually only include a few of my own questions. I would go in there and only put in the number of questions that you're adding that are your own. That way you don't have to go through and delete these questions one by one. So that's just kind of a little bit of advice that will help save time on this. I'm going to go through and show you how to schedule it as well, because once you're done, you still have to schedule the test. So I'm going to hit return to test details. And it's going to tell me I've got a lot of issues with this because I've got several questions that don't have answers, that don't have questions. But if I go through here, I can actually take out my test items. And like I said, this is going to take some time, so I would think about this ahead of time and only put in the number of questions that you really just want to make up on your own. Once you're done, remember to hit the ready to schedule, and it's just like the Express Test Builder where you have to schedule a start date and end date, and then when you want your students to see the actual test results.